What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another fantastic Art of War stream. I am here with the one and only Brad Chester, live at... This is Nick Nanavati.
No, I'm Chad Brester.
Chad Brester is here, and we are bringing you another episode of Top Players Debate Hottest Topics.
Hot players debate hot topics.
You just said you're not Brad Chester.
Even better.
Even better. All right, everyone. I'm here with Nick. We're here to answer all of your questions in this YouTube episode. But let's kick things off with just saying what we're doing, just in case this is your first time watching. We're gonna answer a bunch of questions. As always, we always answer our super chats in the chat. You know, we can't ignore them. We appreciate the support. Everything that you do helps us grow the channel. But if you're wondering where else we pull these questions from, I'll tell you, it's the Art of War Discord. If you're not in the Art of War Discord yet, you are missing out. What you want to do to get in that Discord is go click on the link below, theartofwar40k.com/learn-more. That gives you a discount for your first month in the war, or become a member of our YouTube channel, which, you know what? Those buttons are right below too.
Right there.
Like, share, subscribe. You know all the fun buttons. You know what to do with them. We appreciate your support. It helps us grow the channel. We could not do this without you. Ooh, we got Hack Jarpster in the chat too. Look at that.
Hack Jarpster.
Hack Jarpster. I honestly don't know.
What a guy.
Yeah, never heard of him. Must be a new member. Probably a longtime fan.
Yeah, we have a lot of longtime fans. You can become one also by clicking that subscribe button. Like John was saying, our ability to produce this content completely depends on your support for us. So please keep on supporting. It means the world to us. I can't debate the hot topics if you don't click that link button.
Exactly. You gotta feed the top players to debate the hot topics.
All right, John, what are these hot topics?
All right, we're gonna start off by pulling some questions from our Discord.
No way.
We are.
Really?
We are. We absolutely are.
So people who are members can just post questions, then we pull them. And
Oh yeah, that's easy.
That's really easy. Do that.
All right, we're doing it. So, dun dun dun. Starting off, T Swift is asking the deep philosophical questions for the first one. I saw this morning. I'm like, you know what? Nick, how has Art of War changed your life positively and negatively?
A lot. Okay, we'll try to keep this on the quick end because I could probably spend all day doing this. But, I used to work at Revlon, the women's cosmetics company, as a data analyst. And unfortunately, that wasn't a very fulfilling position for me. I really didn't feel like I was stretching my creative muscles. I didn't feel like I was doing what I wanted to be doing. I almost felt like I had two different existences, the work-life existence and then actually what I want to do existence. And I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that. Hopefully you find some job in your life where you feel fulfilled from it. I find that much better. So Art of War gives me some sense of fulfillment. Just Pro 40k in general has really helped with that. I think from a challenge perspective, I'm really learning to lead the team, and the number of responsibilities never goes down, only goes up. So constant struggle of what used to be sustainable is no longer. So you have to keep on evolving and adapting, and that's partly because of all your guys' support. So thank you. Like, we're growing as a channel, we're expanding as a business, and it's completely because of all of you. So thanks for that. And I guess the last part to it is just, it really means a lot to me. I'd say Art of War is very special to my heart.
Nick's giving like such a heartfelt, serious answer, and I was brainstorming all of the completely non-heartfelt.
Okay, well, you know what? That's the yin and yang to this, John. So why don't you just blow it out there?
So how has joining Art of War changed your life with the positives and negatives? The positives, it's a lot of what Nick said. It was weird having clock in for 8 hours, do a job at a desk that it wasn't bad, but I wasn't in love with it, while kind of secretly writing lists. I would write army lists during meetings, but to make sure no one caught me, I would only write the points values and I wouldn't write anything else.
Oh yeah, I just had an Excel sheet.
Yeah, I just had had a little side column of numbers, so it didn't look like anything. I'm totally writing a Tyranid list in in a meeting. I'm like,
I know the feels. He still does that in the meetings.
Absolutely. And then, it's obviously really fun, moving to a new city, getting out of my hometown, always something that everyone, I think, should do at some point, get out of their hometown. As much as you love it, and it's good to go back for the best pizza on earth, you got to get out of there sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah, well, everyone's hometown has the best pizza.
That's not true.
That's just true.
Only if you live in New Jersey.
Okay. Tell the New Yorkers that. The negatives is it's kind of shatters the mystery a little bit. Because, I knew who Nick was for a while. Nick won some tournaments before I met him, which is surprising to all of you, I know.
I used to be good at this.
Indeed, so it seemed. But then, there's things where, I know who Nick Nanavati is for 8 years, and then at some point, I get home from dinner, and Nick is, burning the pot that my mom bought 10 years ago. And I'm like, What a freaking world.
When we say burning the pot, we mean a physical
Oh yes,
stove
this
pot.
is a physical like piece of piece of cookware that my mom bought me like 10 years ago. Back when I still know who Nick Nanavati was. I'd like log into Bell of Lost Souls and read his 2005 Adepticon winning list. It had Fate Weaver last time you won a game with them. And then like 10 years later, this like nice like $100 piece of cookware, I just come home and Nick just has ruined it beyond repair. And I'm like, wow.
John ate all my Oreos once.
I did. And I bought you
Twice.
more and that's exactly what happened.
And then he ate all the
I
replacement
ate
Oreos.
half of each box. I think that's fair. You want more Oreos, Nick?
Yeah, I want an endless supply of Oreos for life, John.
I certainly do. No, it's been really fun, and also both it lets you meet new people, make new friends, and then get a lot closer to people you already knew before. So I love it.
Pull up those comments. I want to see the chat as well.
Get the chat in here. We could even pop.
We can pop it out. See, these are the big brain plays.
There we go. I'm gonna put it exactly in the spot that Nick can't read because there's a mic in the way.
No, we moved the mic. I got plans for that.
Dang it. Well, I'll put it too far away then.
Too far. I got the high eye pressure.
All right. Let's see here. When you try to talk trash and stutter. Yes. That often happens. Art of War confirmed in Colorado. Almost.
We'll see.
Oh, you never know where we might go. Here's a question. This one is definitely up Nick's alley.
I have alleys.
You do indeed. There seems to be a lack of orc content these days. In the current meta, if you want to run a super optimized Goth list with Gaz, 3x10 Gretchen to give you access to get the good bits, stomp them good into biggest and the best, what do you bring with it? So that's a good question.
That's a good question. We're going to try to get more orc content on the channel for you. I feel like no matter which factions we show on the channel, some other faction players are like, you don't show our factions.
There's just so many factions in 40k.
Factions and rules,
Yeah, I know, right?
Don't worry, we're not trying to leave anyone hanging. We'll get that orc content. War Boss Jack is on vacation at the moment after his glorious win at the Nova Open, but he'll be back and he'll be stomping them good. To answer your question, though, I think if you're running a Goth list with Gaz and Gratz, the way you finish that out is just hyper aggression. Gaz gives you access to both wogs, so I think taking two Wazbomb
Blastajets.
Wazbomb Blastajets.
Yeah, that's the only name I know.
They struggle a little bit in the Armor of Contempt world since they're only AP2. Getting that extra AP from the Speedwog really helps them out, and they add a lot of pressure to your build. So them, a couple kill rigs, running straight at your opponent, maybe some truck boys, truck knobs, anything like that. Just pressure really is the style of orcs I like to see.
Yep. All right. Oh, this is a good question from Brady. Since you're quite involved with the streaming 40k, not only because we do it in house, obviously, but because you do it for Games Workshop as well. How would you make Warhammer a more streamable game?
This is a question I have been wrestling with for like 4 years. I think we're getting progress on the subject. There's a couple things I think that need to be hit. One, very few people speak Warhammer 40k. As often my non-Warhammer 40k playing friends talk, they describe it as John and I and Siegs, we just get in our zone and we speak a different language. So part of the challenge is changing your vernacular and making the game more approachable to non-40k players or non-40k experts who don't know the lingo as well. So that's a bit of just turning your brain into, instead of using technical terms, trying to translate technical terms into English. Definitely making the game more approachable in general. 40k can be slow, especially as a commentator. I often have to fill a lot of time that the players are spent thinking with a lot of noise. And the way I try to do that is basically explain the tactics and thoughts that are going on in their heads and what the strategies of both sides are. That, along with camera angles, telestrators to draw, all of that stuff helps make it a lot more approachable as a game. Like if you look at football, like American football as a sport, there is so much downtime in football. There's so much downtime. There's like time spent off, like resetting sides, time spent timeouts. I know it's a 1 hour game, 4 15-minute quarters somehow takes 4 hours. You know what else takes 4 hours somehow? 5 turns of Warhammer. So if they can fill that and make it interesting, so can we.
Right on. Before we hit that next question, we got to hit this super chat from Luke is all right. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat, Luke. We really appreciate it. Their question is Cadmus the worst night house? So, you know what? It honestly took me a bit to remember what house Cadmus does, which does not bode well for them. Unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. House Cadmus rerolls 1s to wound unless you're targeting a vehicle or monster.
I'm going to say no. Cadmus has a lot of value in the Horde meta. If when Orcs and Tyranids and Gene Stealer cult are good, then, Cadmus re-roll them ones for free. For frizzles.
For frizzles?
For frizzles.
For frizzles? Well, let's give another thing for them, because you know what? I want to know about this. I think that they've got some options into demons as well. You know why? Because they have an intercept stratagem. They have an Aspect scan.
This faction's broken. They auto-beat demons. Demons don't really run vehicles.
The secret is to tell your Gene Circle opponent, like, hey, I have an Aspect scan, and then you run your knights so far forward that they can't deep strike anywhere but within 12 inches. Tim is in the chat. I wonder if Tim has any takes on House Cadmus, specifically. If he would ever outflank you into Retributors within 12 inches of a House Cadmus knight. Tim, just let me know if you would do that.
No one would do that.
He would not do that. Tim is a war room member. He's way too smart.
We teach the war room members not to do that. So if you used to do that, become a war room member, you'll no longer do that. You can learn more about that.
Exactly.
Right
he certainly would not lose to Mark Parker by doing that.
No, absolutely not.
So maybe House Cadmus got some legs. All right. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. All right. There's some juicy questions coming that I'm personally very excited for.
I can see that.
But one more before we get there. Under what circumstances do you think conceding a game of 40k to be bad-mannered at an event? I've heard conflicting opinions on if it's ever appropriate or not, or if the game should always be played out to turn 5 regardless of any chance of winning. So I don't think that you... So this is a complicated question. This is actually a hard one.
Yeah.
There definitely could be a situation where it's bad-mannered to quit in a game, but in general, I don't think that it should be frowned upon. Because sometimes, let's be honest here, this is a hobby. Most people, I would say 99.8% of the people who will go out there and play a game of Warhammer are doing it just for the enjoyment, just to have a good time. It's not their work. It's not their job. We obviously have a privileged position here. And if you're not enjoying your hobby or something you're doing for fun, stop doing it. Like if I'm watching a game of football, that's what I like to do on my downtime, and I'm no longer having fun because sometimes football games go that way, I usually change the channel or turn it off.
Yeah.
And that should be the expectation, is that this is something you're doing for fun. And if you're not having a good time, it's okay to pull the plug and step away. And it's unfortunate that sometimes enjoyment is linked because it's a two-person game instead of a one-way football game that I'm watching. But my take is that you owe your opponent a good time as long as reasonable, but you should never feel obligated to have a bad time yourself.
Yeah, I would agree with that a lot. There's a lot of factors here because it's a two-person game, like you were saying. I don't think there should be a blanket, like, don't concede, do concede.
Yeah.
I think it is very case by case. I've seen all kinds of concessions in 40k, leaning from somebody who refuses to just roll over and die. They have 2 models left, it's turn 3, and they just somehow play it out to turn 5. And you know what? More power to them. That can also cause a lot of frustration from your opponent because it's like, can we just end this? I have things to do. But you know what? You both signed up to play a game, so go play the game. Some players are particularly slow, so I can definitely feel the frustration on that side. So I want to play a bit of a devil's advocate there, saying sometimes it is just appropriate to, if not concede, then at least speed things up a little for the sake of both players here. But at the same time, you don't want to prematurely concede. Someone came to play. You theoretically came to play. There is the element of if you're not having a good time, no one's forcing you to. That's part of the hobby. But there's a bit of social obligation to your opponent because this is two people getting into an engagement together. Yeah,
I think what I would say is that, again, if you're just, sometimes it's just not your day, you don't have to feel forced to it. I don't love it when people concede like turn 1 because they had like an unlucky thing.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing. Again, they're not obligated to finish. But that's the time when I'm like, because like sometimes people concede on turn 4 instead of 5, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, like if the game's going against them, so be it. That's all right. Let's go get lunch. You know, I'll get a Coke, you get a beer, we'll have fun. But the turn 1 concessions, when it's just like the game is still playable, but then like something went wrong and they're just like, nah, I'm done. It's unfortunate for the opponent, but again, just never feel obligated to play.
I will say, as another caveat though, to the person who does concede, obviously you owe something to your opponent by showing up and trying to be there and engaging them for part of their time. Sure. But at the same time, since going pro at this game and competing a lot on higher levels, I would say I've had a lot more turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 concessions, probably prematurely. And I don't find anything wrong with it personally because I can never control what my opponent's going to do. I have no say in how another human interacts or just acts themselves. So it's also upon me as the person maybe causing the concession to recognize, have I done something wrong? Have I upset my opponent in some way? Is it on me? Are they just upset about the state of the game and it's not my fault? That's just the breaks. In which case, it's not their responsibility to make me happy. That's my job.
Yeah. Fully agreed on that. All right.
That's a good question.
We've got a super chat.
We've got a super chat from Kelly Hosing.
All right. What factions do you think teach the most transferable skill set for competitive 40k if a new player focuses on mastering it? So I'm going to rephrase that a little bit. If you're a new player picking a new faction, which single faction is going to have the most transferable skills? Like if you're going to master one thing, what do you want to do?
This is a great question.
This is a great question.
I want you to answer first, and then I'm going to answer it myself.
I'm predicting that we will both display a fair amount of bias on this one.
For sure.
For sure. All right. What faction do you think teaches the most transferable skill set? I'm going to go ahead and say Tyranids.
I was also going to say Tyranids. I'll change my answer.
You told me to go first, Nick.
I'll change my answer. It's fine.
I'm going to say Tyranids. The reason is that Tyranids are an army that's active in every phase. They are they shoot well. They fight well. They psychic well. They've got just about every mechanic to some degree. So it's going to teach you every phase. They are simultaneously strong and sometimes fragile because sometimes like you can just like put a tough unit forward and not think about it and just be like, yep, I'm alive. You know, if you start with Custodies and you push out, it's not teaching you much about playing Genestealer Cult. So Tyranids are both very strong. So and frankly, you know, if you're starting out a new player, having a strong army is not a bad thing. Give you a little bit of an edge just to make the game enjoyable. But it teaches you a little bit of everything. You have command phases, you have auras. You've got a great stratagem set, so you have to learn CP discipline. Your secondaries aren't automatic. They're all scoreable, but you have to put thought into them. It requires planning. Like, it's also a complicated army. Yeah. But it's very strong. Tyranids, #1 for me. And it's the army that I played for 7 years straight before I got my second.
Well, yeah, and maybe that's why you're good at this game.
It's exactly. If I started as like a demon player, I probably still wouldn't even know what to do other than try to roll 3-ups.
Now, as a coach, there are definitely armies that I try to, like, different people have different goals. But if your goal is to just simply get better at Warhammer and, you know, faction irrespective, time, no constrictions, I would recommend playing an army like Tyranids or Eldar actually as well. I think Eldar and Tyranids play very similarly from the fact they operate in every single phase. Elements of them are super fragile. Parts of them can become very durable. What I think Eldar teaches you more so than any faction, I would say, is positioning, because you are made of literal paper. If you mess up in positioning, it's very punishing. So you do have to just learn movement, which ultimately transfers to every army. You can't just push your stuff forward and expect it to work like some factions can. That won't punish you, like John said, Custodies that lean into durability. If you are just durable enough, you're not learning how to position, you're learning how to roll saves. If you're playing Eldar, a big thing as well is that you find out if your shooting phase and combat phase are going to work in the psychic phase. As in, if you're banking on Doom going off so you can kill a knight, if you're banking on Quicken going off so you can get your Farseer in the right spot or your Shining Spears in the right spot. All of these powers you have to set up in the movement phase and then execute upon after your psychic phase before you know if it's going to get work or not. So there needs to be a plan A, everything worked. There needs to be a plan B, some stuff worked. There needs to be a plan C, nothing worked. And having games lose to dice, we don't blame dice here. Losing games because I failed Doom, because I failed this charge, Eldar will teach you at first how to lose those games. And then after you get past that, how to compensate for stuff's not working. So,
Eldar is another great choice. I actually assumed you were going to go Eldar first.
My instinct was Eldar first, and then I was like, no, Tyranids are actually a nicer faction for teaching because they aren't so punishing. But, you know, Eldar, if you want to learn 40k on hard mode, Eldar it is. One thing, though, that really... I played Eldar for like a year and a half straight and did very well with them. I won ITC with Eldar. And then I was like, you know what, enough of this. I'm going to switch armies again, go back to like the mortal land of people. And I really missed having Doom. At first, I was like, how do you kill anything when everything doesn't reroll? And that took some time to adjust to. But, you know, every army does get by somehow.
Yeah. I kind of wish, like, the new Harlequin rules have kind of changed it, but Harlequins would have been one of my old answers for that. My experience with it was that it was super fun to, like, play Tyranids for a long time and then translate quickly to Harlequins. Because Harlequins are just like, or old Harlequins were just like High Fleet Kraken with 3-up invulns.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is great.
It's a lot less of them.
There's some less wounds in there, but 3-up invulns, man, I can rock those all day.
I can't. 3-up invulns might as well be 6s.
I can do those. Can't make a 5-up save, but that's what we got you for. All right.
I want to, before we move on, just thank Kurtztube, I think that's your name, for becoming an Art of War member. Now you too are in the Discord server, or soon you will be, where you can post questions right here for us to answer. Isn't that cool?
It is cool. You know, I like that you did a football analogy earlier, because today is the first day of the NFL season.
I knew that. I'm a sports guy.
Exactly. You are a sports guy. And that's why I actually wanted to pull George's question from the chat. Which NFL teams or college teams do y'all root for?
Rutgers is the college team, because I went to Rutgers. That's super obvious. And
pretty good answer, yeah?
Yeah. And then for NFL teams, I don't have a team that I'm so emotionally attached to. I feel like I have to say the Jets, the Giants, because I'm from that area. But that's lame. I hate that, because like I don't actually care about them. I'm going to go with the Browns for obvious reasons.
All right.
What's yours, John?
I just have to ask, what city are the Browns in?
Cleveland.
All right, there we go. Just
I'm a sports guy.
You're a sports guy. There we go. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I'm an owner as well because my family's from Wisconsin.
He owns the whole thing, not just a small percentage.
No, it is an extremely small percentage. We're gonna go 0.01, but you know what? Owner. And then college, I go for Texas A&M because that's where I went. So simple as that. All right, we're getting to the juicy stuff. This is what I've been waiting for.
What have you been waiting for?
Brady has a question. Which towers are being referenced in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers?
Got this. I wrote a whole essay on this movie.
You did.
They made me watch it twice, including the extended
I only
version.
made you watch it once.
The ominous
The
they.
ominous they.
They're all against me. So, which towers are we referring to? Well, there's two of them. The first one is the one Saruman, the White Wizard. He stands
great
on.
so far.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that one, and he's like the guy that the tree people come in and knock down at some point. And then there's the other tower which holds the ring, the eye of Saruman.
Yep.
Sauron.
Yeah.
The Eye of Sauron is on the big black tower with a, and that's the other one. Those are the two towers. Was that right?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I was. That's because I've seen these movies.
Yeah, no, it's those are the two. It's because it's the two towers is kind of about like them becoming allies, which is not good for everyone else. It's like when the two bad guys team up, then the boss music like starts playing and it's in Latin and you know that you're about to lose a life.
See,
that's kind of what happens.
I feel like the Saruman was the bad guy. He became a bad guy in the first movie, so you know. And then I felt like the whole thing in the second movie. Oh, I'll digress. This is not about that.
No, it is. It is.
I just don't think that movie had to happen.
You just don't think it just didn't have to happen.
There was so much nothing going on in that movie. There's a really, really cool battle. It was entertaining. It was also 4.5 hours long. And I don't really know how the plot was progressed when they continued on their journey and there was a battle. Which killed like half the bad guy army, I guess.
Oh, man. Yeah, that one stings a little bit. No, Blonkers rewatched Two Towers last night. The amount of times they rock up to a new land.
Loss.
Declare the name of the land city, then ride on is hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why did any of that have to be shown or happen? Just wandering around. A lot of wandering around. Trees. The trees knew. The tree people literally spent the entire time walking the forest. About an hour of my life was spent watching trees walk through a forest. What even is that sentence? And then they were like...
Have you ever been on a hike, Nick?
Trees don't walk on the hikes, John. And then...
They could.
At the very end, because the trees know they're trolling you, they're like, it's not worth saying until it takes a really long time, which is the story of this entire series.
Painful. Well, we'll see how you feel about The Hobbit and The Rings of Power.
Stupid Harlequin heads. What else?
John, it's your job. Just quietly stop Nick now.
Snivart, no one wants to hear your opinion on this. That you're not one of the hot players debating the hot topics.
Whoa, did you see Snivart?
I mean, he's a hot player, but he's not debating the hot topics.
Just saying. I don't know.
He's a good-looking man, but that's neither here nor there.
Just saying. All right. Dun dun dun. Who's the best character in House of the Dragon, and why is it Daemon Targaryen?
Wait. So I'm trying to watch a show. I actually want to watch House of the Dragon. I watched all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, even the last one.
God bless.
But you know what? I haven't started House of the Dragon. Partly because they release on Sundays and I've been away every Sunday. And you know what? Don't ruin it. No spoilers.
I'm willing to pass on that question. Giving just the name of a character that I like, would that be a spoiler? I won't explain why.
No, that's fine.
All right. Daemon Targaryen, fantastic character. Really enjoyed seeing him so far. I'm a fan of Rhaenyra though. But there's 3 episodes out so far. I have enjoyed it.
She's a dragon lady.
Maybe.
I know a little bit of the show, mostly because I watch Game of Thrones.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, Sniper is calling you a has-been? Ouch. Well, you shouldn't have said he wasn't hot.
Do you see this?
You shouldn't have said he wasn't hot.
I'm getting hotter by the day, not has-beenier by the day.
Oh, man. All right. Art of War data slate when? I know. The Discord's been asking for the Art of War data slate.
What is the goal of the Art of War data slate? What are we trying to create here? Like you, me, Jack, and Siegs? Like the whole squad?
Yeah.
One of us?
We make the data slate is like the balance data slate.
Oh, we're making it. I thought it was a data slate.
No. The Discord's been asking us to make the balance data slate.
So I think a lot of us would be strength 3. I'd be strength 5.
Nick would be initiative 1.
No, I run. I'm fast.
Nick has advance rolls. Mark,
maybe weapon skill 5.
Mark does not take heavy penalties, but cannot make advance rolls.
We saw Mark make a sprint once. Mark's an obliterator.
Mark's an obliterator. Jack's in the chat as well. I feel like we should mention that it's Jack's birthday.
It is Jack's birthday. You know it's also Blake's birthday?
They have the same birthday?
The Jack-Blake combo.
That's fantastic.
Art of War was born today.
Happy birthday to Art of War. Not just Jack and Blake. They can have a happy birthday too. But apparently all of Art of War are born today.
The whole thing.
Out of curiosity, do you know what day you first
came up with the idea?
No, the words Art of War. When did you decide on the name?
Sometime in June or May of 2019.
All right, so we don't have a date of 2019?
Yeah.
Yep, that is the one and only Nova Champ in chat.
That's
Jack
true.
Harpster.
That's true.
There we go.
Actually, Siegs also is a Nova Champ.
One and only.
He's not in chat though.
One and only. Yeah, he's the only one and only Nova Champ in chat.
I've won the Invitational 3 times. Does that count?
You're not in the chat.
One and only.
And you're not the one and only.
That's true.
There we go. All right. Oh boy, Jason is he's ranking it up a little bit. Why was the industrialization of Isengard central to the development of modernization of Middle-earth and the advancement of all civilization? Was Saruman just misunderstood? Why did the Ents hate progress so much? And then finally, a tier ranking of factions, Lord of the Rings. I want to do that tier ranking, but we're gonna hold off a little bit on that.
One at a time here.
One at a time.
So what was the...
Why was the industrialization of Isengard central to the development of modernization of Middle-earth and the advancement of all civilization? That honestly sounds like Richard's thesis.
I was going to say, is this a history class now?
It looks like
it, yeah. I got this. All right. So whenever somebody levels up in technology, you can see this based on our own world that we live in right here. The rest of the world levels up too. So if people figure out agriculture, guess what? Everyone's a farmer now. If people figure out buildings, guess what? Everyone's a building person now. So you know what? That's why.
All right. Yeah. Was Saruman just misunderstood?
No, he was a jerk. I don't like him.
He was a jerk.
He wasn't misunderstood. He was perfectly understood as a jerk.
Why did the Ents hate progress so much?
Because they're really old school trees that don't like walking fast or talking fast, and progress becomes quick. Look at industrialization. Look at 1990 to 2020. Two very different times. Yeah. Only 120 years. The Ents, they haven't evolved in like a million years.
You know what? History question that I'm genuinely blanking on. What was the name of the anti-industry people? Because when they invented sewing machines for the first time, there were people who were really against machines and would break them. I'm blanking on the name. Chat's gonna help us out.
Chat's gonna help us out.
But that's what the Ents are.
Sieg should have been here for this.
Siegler should be here. We should go get Siegler.
I like my hands attached to my body.
What? Why would that? You think you lose a hand from knocking on Richard's door?
The threat did occur once.
I think it was.
I literally
multiple
knocked
times
on Siegs' door once. He was late for a very important meeting, and we lived together, so it's not that hard to just go get him. So I was like, "Let's go get Siegs." Knocked on the door, and then he said, "Do you want to die?"
Yeah. Chat has confirmed it's Luddites. Thank you. That's exactly what I meant.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
It really wasn't.
And that's what it was. All right. So the Ents are Luddites, is what I'm hearing.
So Saruman was misunderstood because the Luddites? No, the Ents didn't like progress because they're Luddites.
Exactly. Yeah. The Ents are Luddites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tier ranking of Lord of the Rings factions. Are you?
I know them. Yeah.
All right.
So there's the Elephant Rider people, the Rohan. Is that it?
The Elephant Riders are not.
Oh, well, yeah, the Elephant Riders are top of the list because they ride elephants. I would say the Ents are number 2 because tree people are awesome despite their slowness.
Yeah. I think the Ents have the highest kill death ratio for sure.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, two Ents get chopped down.
But
and
that's like saying Knights have a kill death ratio.
They turn to. And that Knights are S tier. Clearly.
Are they now?
Yeah, obviously.
Now we have
Better than Death Guard, right?
I would say the Ghost people. They've all died before,
Oh, yeah.
but like they come in, they slap.
True, but they all died.
Yeah, well, this has nothing to do with life or death. This is a tier ranking of factions with no criteria whatsoever. So it's my criteria. Then we have, I would say, the orcs. They're kind of lame as far as orcs are concerned. There's way cooler orcs out there, but I'm running out of factions, I remember.
Yeah.
Then we have the good guys. I'm just going to generically throw them all together as the good guys because they're all lame.
So they're just all at the bottom?
Like you can arbitrate the order as you feel, but it's all pretty subjective. I would say dwarves are at the top because Gimli's pretty funny.
It's true. The dwarves have the highest kill death ratio because none of them die.
The elf people, they don't do anything. They just talk about stuff a lot, so they're at the bottomest bottom.
All right, elves are at the bottom of the tier list. Okay, I wish that was Warhammer. All right. How much do we need to donate to get Nick to play the Lord of the Rings game on stream?
I mean, anything's possible with those super chats. You, if you super chat enough, can get us to pick a stream of your choice. And usually this is relegated to Warhammer 40k since that's what we do. But I will make an exception. We don't have any Lord of the Rings models. But Blake, whose birthday it is.
I have some Isengard.
He was like one of the best Lord of the Rings players in the world for a time. And certainly one of the best painters at the game and all that. He was very successful at that. So you know what? Blake and I will do a Lord of the Rings showdown if you throw enough super chats at us.
Very nebulous. Very nebulous.
Enough.
We'll see how much.
Enough super chats.
See how much enough is. All right. Tier ranking the factions, Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna go number 1. It seems boring to say Mordor, but we're being more accurate here. Mordor.
What's the ones of those?
Isengard. All right. Mordor is the orcs,
Okay.
but like that's Sauron.
Yeah.
Isengard, which is Saruman. I'm gonna go Haradrim next. No, it's probably Gondor next, then the Haradrim, then Rohan, then the Easterlings. That's if we're going like the major players. If we're gonna put like the elves in, I'd probably say Lothlorien's ahead of probably is ahead of the Easterlings, but I think they're too low in number to be ahead of Rohan or Gondor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And the dwarves just don't interact, so like I gotta put them at the bottom.
That's a little
Yeah,
heightish,
so
don't you think?
The kingdoms of Erebor at the bottom because they're the shortest.
Dwarves at the bottom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as we all know, the dwarves are always the worst factions.
Especially in 40k.
Exactly. DJ Logan Sama logs in to say good morning and to tell us that he doesn't like Raising Cane's, which is a little rude. That was one of our discussions yesterday. Was Raising Cane's.
What? When were you
Not
discussing
yesterday.
Raising
I
Cane's?
apologize. Last week.
Last
week when Richard and I did a Hot Topics together.
So, Raising Cane's, Mark swears by it, as Mark does for all things Southern. And he made me go get Raising Cane's with him when we were in Mississippi together. And you know what? I wouldn't say it sucks, especially with harsh language before the sucks. I would say it's very average. Very average fried chicken. Yeah.
It's what it is because the only thing on the menu is fried chicken.
And bread.
And bread with fried chicken.
Yeah.
There we go. Here's a question from DTP, that's Dalton Peters. What CSM lists are you tempted to throw demons into? Oh, Nick, this is up your alley.
All right. I'm going to have like a CSM demon party. Right now, I'm really trying to learn how demons, the mono faction works, so I'm sticking away from the soup. We got Mark with all his soup creations going on. But very shortly, I'm gonna get some demon CSM drinks. So some things I'm really excited by as build around options. The Master of Possession, he's a Warp Locust. That's really good. The Iron Warrior's Lord of Skulls, that guy is like unkillable, not bad. Also a Warp Locust. So, right?
The Lord of Skulls
the
is a
Lord
warp?
of Skulls is a Warp Locust.
I did not see that coming.
Right, no one did. So, you know, there's a lot of who knows what you can do. Leadership shenanigans, Night Lords? Maybe. I really hope demons have added enough modifiers to make the Night Lords actually work as a faction. So those are the 3 things I'm super excited about trying. Some Word Bearer demon stuff with the Master of Possessions. Some Iron Warriors, Lord of Skulls, which John, as you can see...
I'm still stuck on that.
He's still stuck. And
Yeah,
then, of course, Night Lords.
Of course, Night Lords, obviously.
Obviously.
Night Lords is your favorite, right?
Yeah.
Is Conrad Kurz also your favorite Chaos Primarch? No. Who's that?
Fey Weaver.
Okay. One last. Oh, let's see. Benjamin says the Art of War data slate. Okay, so just clarifying what he wants from the data slate, which is that he wants us to get all of our proposed balance changes down. We have had a lot of people asking for that.
We have. We might even do an entire video where we summarize our changes and present them.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty
We'd
cool.
have to make a document, though, so it'd take a little bit of prep time. So
you know what? The supposedly, and I really don't know when this is going to happen, but it's just around that time of the month where they're going to come up with another balanced data slate. I don't know if it's like this week, next week, 3 weeks from now, October, who knows. But I don't really want to do it right before they actually pump out their balanced data slate because, we don't want to show them up like that.
Yeah, it'd just be embarrassing.
Right. So
Maybe
maybe
so nuanced, and then they're like, Tyranids up 50 points. And we're like, oh, okay.
nuance. Tyranids up 50 points.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
But maybe after we get the next one from GW, we'll come out with one shortly after to see like what we would go from there. I think that'd be cool.
Right on.
Unless they just take forever and announce it's coming in like November, because then we'll just do one.
Yeah, at that point. We've got a $5 super chat from William. William, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you. Here's their question. Assuming Space Marines 2.0 is real, we're assuming that's a codex, what would you want to see in the codex? What do you want? So if we get one at the end of 9th edition, kind of like we did end of 8th edition, what do we got?
I don't know. I like what Space Marines do. I just think they need to be better at it. I mean, their whole idea is that they're a jack of all trades, master at none, but pretty good at everything kind of beginner faction. I think they do that. It's just that they have not kept up with everybody else's releasing pretty well. I think I would love to see more differentiation in the units. A lot of the units kind of do the same exact job as each other, but one is like slightly better. The Primaris versions are oftentimes just better versions of the non-Primaris units, or the non-Primaris units just have access to the right weapons that the Primaris ones don't, so you just take those instead. Example, Devastator squads. So I would like real differentiation between the different units and real roles for all the different units. Just easier said than done. There's like 500 units in that codex.
Yeah.
But that would be my goal.
I would really like to see changes made to the vehicles, the non-Dreadnought vehicles. I love Dreadnoughts. It's one of my favorite things about Space Marines. However, for quite a while, the only way to get a good gun into a Space Marine army has been to take Dreadnoughts. And I feel like Dreadnoughts should be good fire support and not the only fire support that you see in a Space Marine army. Right. So I would love to see all these Primaris vehicles. I tried really hard to make Stormsweepers work. I really did. I'd love to see Predators and Vindicators and, God help me, Land Raiders. Just
Land Raiders
do
are amazing.
Yeah, they sure are, and I would like them to be more amazing.
Yeah,
so that I could paint one.
Me too. Well, I don't want to paint one, but I want John to paint one.
That I believe. Tori Levitt has also got a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Again, that support is essential. We really appreciate it.
$2 from Jack Carpster to sing him happy birthday. Oh,
$2.
Thanks so much.
Our price so low, Jack. We really appreciate your support.
Not even $2. $1.99. $1.99. I think that's the minimum super chat you can give.
Nick, are you
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jax. Happy birthday to you.
I hope everyone at home is clapping with us.
We should start a new channel of Art of War called the Art of War. What's the word for the? I'm blanking on it. Acapella group.
The Art of War acapella group. You know what? We could do that. I think we should have an Art of War karaoke night.
I have one to do karaoke, especially when I am under influences of liquids.
Ew.
But you know what? I'm terrible at it. Like, straight terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say, the reason I want to do Art of War karaoke is that I feel so much better about my own singing talents. Because I wouldn't consider myself any above average talent when it comes to singing, but I think with this group, I would really shine.
Some people think I have a nice voice. And you know what? We can use that to sing.
Yeah, well, your mother's very polite.
She really is.
She's a
nicely.
saint.
Actually, she'd be the first person to say, I don't like your voice.
Dang. Jack just gave 66 cents to YouTube to get a happy birthday from his friends.
You're not wrong.
Heyo. All right, Nick, I've got a question or two for you.
Yes.
This is about tournaments.
Tournaments. We should actually talk about Warhammer, I suppose.
We really don't have to, actually.
We don't.
That's the fun part.
It's about hot topics.
Exactly.
And hot players.
But you know what? Before we do that, we're going to answer the super chat from Zlack Onion.
So many super chats. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you, Zlack Onion, for that support. We appreciate you. This has to be a question for Nick, I can only assume.
It is.
What's the difference between an Urukai, a Goblin, an Orc, and a Flash Git, if any?
Okay, an Urukai is a Lord of the Rings orc.
Yep.
Done. A Goblin is from old fantasy, but they still exist in the form of Gretchen, and maybe goblins exist in AOS. I'm not sure. But they're like small little green creatures, not orcs, very different in stature and in actual...
Okay. Different in stature, like that, yeah.
Different in body mechanics. They just kind of look orc-like because they're still four-limbed people.
In body mechanics.
Body mechanics.
What does that mean?
You know exactly what that means. An orc, that's pretty obvious. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes. Orcs are orcs. And flash gits are actually knobs, which are bigger orcs that carry guns.
So what's the difference between an Urukai and an Orc?
Lord of the Rings versus not Lord of the Rings. It's all about the IP.
Okay. And a Flash Git's a bigger Orc, and an Orc is a bigger Goblin.
No. Orcs and goblins have different body mechanics. A goblin is different to an orc. An orc to a goblin is like a human to...
Oh, I'm so ready for
You're
this.
so ready for this. A human to a dwarf. Or a gnome. A gnome.
A gnome.
A human to a gnome. Because they're very similar. You know, they got the appendages, they got the brain, they got the same body identity. But then one of them is really small and not actually the same.
Sean Allen, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. How would you build a non-Bellicor pure corn army?
A non-Bellicor pure corn army.
Ooh.
I'd probably go with...
I want this World Leader Codex to come out.
I was going to say World Eaters.
I want Angron and Scarbrand to just like tag teaming people.
Yeah, I would go with World Eaters and then maybe a Master... You can't take a Master Possession. World Eaters with a Lord of Skulls, Deep Strike, and Blood Letters off that thing. Let's go monocorn.
Yeah. I was about to ask why you can't take a Master Possession. I'm like, oh yeah, there's...
This is why I'm the Chaos guy. Yep. Everyone knows that. Especially Sean Allen. Thanks for your support.
Jack, it's okay. It's okay, Jack.
No.
All right, Nick, here's my question for you. It's day 2 of LVO.
Yeah.
You're 6-0. You're playing in the top 8 tomorrow.
None of this is true.
How many hours of sleep are you going to get?
I'm playing in top 8 of LVO tomorrow. I'm 6-0. The tournament...
You're in Las Vegas.
I'm in Las Vegas.
Not how many hours do you want to get. How many hours are you going to get?
The same amount. I would say I go to bed before 3 and on a good... Like the goal is 2, so I'm going to say before 3. And if I'm being good, if I'm being a good boy, before 12. But realistically, around 2 o'clock, and then I wake up around 7 o'clock. So about 5 hours. I think that's a reasonable amount of time for this position in my life.
Okay, sounds good. How much? All right, here's the question. How
much sleep are you going to get? You got to answer that question too.
The night before, I've only done it once.
Yeah.
I got like 7 hours.
That's not even that much more.
I went to bed at 9 and I fell asleep around midnight.
Oh, it's so much anxiousness.
I certainly was thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't not thinking. Like I think we can safely say that.
See, I wouldn't be thinking much. Certainly not about Warhammer. It's kind of like a switch. You turn the Warhammer on, you turn the Warhammer off.
Yeah. You ever break a switch before? It's been stuck in the up position for 13 years or so.
I was going to say, Joe. I used to have those problems. I used to only think about Warhammer. Now, good luck trying to get me to think about Warhammer.
It's hard out there. You know what? Arc to Fire has a good question here. This is a good one. Speaking of hot topics, who is the hottest 40k player you've ever played against?
This is easy. Easy street. Dallas Tubby. Easy. Done. He's this guy from New York. Mm-hmm. The first time I ever met him was like 6-7 years ago. I walked up to him and told him, "You're too hot to play this game." And then I walked away.
All right.
That's true. This is a true story. Ask him.
All right. No, I fully believe that. Jack says 4 to 6 tops. Caffeine handles the rest. Yeah, Jack's going to be like, "John, I'm dead. I need 3 white monsters. And if you don't get it, we're going to lose WTC." That's how that's going to go. Let's see. We're running a little low on questions here. We're boiling down to the end.
I got a good.
You've got some?
I've got some questions.
Oh.
Well, I wrote my Lord of the Rings essay yesterday, and I think for Jack's birthday we should share it. I think that'd be a fun thing we can do.
Share the Lord of the Rings essay. Oh, but it can be arranged. Let's see if we can get a Lord of the Rings essay up.
Now, I will say I have a prompt for this essay, and supposedly I have made it too short. But you know, this is what we got, and we're gonna go with it. My prompt was, I'm gonna paraphrase it. It's been a while, approximately 5 months. My prompt was to compare Gollum, the creature, to like humans, and show how he is. What was my prompt, John? You made it up.
Well, the prompt was about
what are these Tau creatures doing there? I just like them.
It's Richard. We're working on it. So the prompt was to talk about like the symbolism of Gollum and what he represents. Just what Gollum represents. And I left that open-ended for Nick to interpret as he saw fit. So yeah, I think we could
let's get to it.
Let's read this wonderful essay from Nick. Do you want to read it or shall I read it out loud?
You should read it.
I should read it. All right. A lesson from Gollum. You know, I need the chat up.
The chat needs to be up.
I need a little moral support here. A lesson from Gollum. Throughout the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Gollum has been a fixture of the journey following the hobbits with his tenacious dependency for the ring. He has a very pale, almost disease-ridden flesh look, mangy, patchy hair, and his one-tracked obsession for the ring makes him visually embody some of the worst parts of humanity. This was written by Nick Nanavati. During the trilogy, we learn more about his character, where he comes from, how he became the way he is, and at times we almost feel sorry for him. I do feel sorry for him.
I almost.
What makes him such a powerful character in this story is how relatable he is. Ooh, yeah. No, we're chat. It's okay. We're getting through this to the end.
Gollum. I was thinking about Golem from like Pokemon, you know, the rock creature.
Or literal, yeah. Formerly known as Smeagol, was a mere hobbit.
Smeagol.
Yep. Was a mere hobbit who came into contact with the ring, not unlike our protagonists, Frodo and Sam. However, unlike our cliche heroes, Smeagol was corrupted by the power of the ring, falling into a deep depression focused solely on the acquisition of this powerful artifact. You didn't just like see the red line and be like, oh, what should I do with that? What starts as a small curiosity for a shiny object quickly snowballs into an obsession, which completely transforms the hobbit Smeagol into the creature we've come to know, Gollum. Gollum is the embodiment of greed taken too far, an emotion all humans have to combat at one point or another in their lives. This is causing me OCD severely. Yeah. Okay.
There was no proofreading in the making of this essay.
No, there was not. Gollum not only embodies greed, but also visually depicts how it can transform people both physically and mentally. Due to Gollum's fixation with the ring, he loses all notion of his physical health. We see him in a depleted, starving state with a gray, decrepit skin tone. Nothing about his physical appearance seems to be even sustainable for life, which leaves the audience to wonder if during his time with the ring he retained some of its mystical powers to help him. Some call this plot armor. In this way, we can draw a parallel to see how humans who develop unnatural, unhealthy obsessions can let themselves go to extreme lengths. Another great real-life example of this is my show... Is this show, My 600-Pound Life? Yeah, okay. Gollum also depicts some of the ugliest sides to humanity and his actions of manipulation. He actively steals, lies, and manipulates Frodo at the expense of Samwise for his own personal agenda with the ring. This type of deceit and manipulation is characteristic of sociopaths who care only for their own goals and not for the plights of those they hurt to achieve them. Lloyd Parker says D-.
That's a pass!
Sometimes. Humans have multifaceted personalities with many dimensions to them. We struggle between balancing personal, short-sighted desires such as greed and lust with being accepted by society and long-term benefits. Smeagol, or should I dub thee Gollum, is a prime example of someone who's allowed greed to completely overtake their ability to rationalize their behaviors at even the most fundamental levels. It goes to show just how powerful the mind can be, and how we are all just an imbalance away from being a golem. Nobody wants to be a golem. Tolkien scholars on life support right now. This man put a full YouTube link in his paper to fluff the page like. That is exactly what I said.
That's not what I did.
I
didn't know there was a word minimum until after I submitted the essay.
Word count was 1,000. Unfortunately, Nick got 510. But we're just going to see how It's okay.
I didn't know there was a word count.
It's okay, buddy. You already failed, so like
D- is a pass.
yeah. No personal pronouns in essays. Has Nick ever heard of teal? I'll freely admit I've never heard of teal, so I'm not gonna knock him if he hasn't.
No personal pronouns in essays is not how they teach you to write in business school, because business is all about getting stuff done.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all the points. I would love to see the outline you wrote for this essay. Like, what were the points you wanted to accomplish?
You think I wrote an outline for this essay?
But like theoretically, now that you've written
The outline would be longer than the essay.
Yeah, okay. Only over half because of the link. Yes, the link literally did take it over the halfway
1,
line.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, an entire line. Oy vey. Well, you know what? That's the thing. I feel like we should explain why Nick had to write these essays.
I think that's a you story.
That is a me story. So this story has depth to it. So this is the culmination of multiple bets. So this started in December of 2020 when we both took a history test from Mr. Richard Siegler. And
one of his actual history tests he gave to his students.
College professor Richard Siegler gave us both his history test.
No studying whatsoever.
Absolutely not. This was a cold take. I scored a 78% on it, which was 2 below the class average. Class average was a clean 80. Fair enough. You know what? No studying. Haven't taken the class yet. I'm going to call that good. Nick got a 60.
Which is a D minus.
Which is it puts the minus in D, that's for sure. And we had a bet before this because Nick thought that he would score better on the test than I would. That I do remember. So if I won, Nick had to watch all 3 extended edition Lord of the Rings films and write an essay on each of them. And that is how we got this glorious third essay that you just saw. Yes, this bet was in December of 2020. Don't ask questions. If Nick had won, I believe that I would have taken him out for a night at a bar and joined him on his escapades.
Which John doesn't do.
Which is true. I do not do that.
This was worth a lot.
It was worth a lot. Fortunately, I had the power of history on my side. so it worked out well. But then Nick did 2 of the essays, and he actually got out of a third of them. And the third essay he got out of because we put the town art in his bedroom for a full year to watch over him as he slept.
Not quite a full year.
It was over. And that's wonderful though. We had the town art in Nick's bedroom for a while, and that's where it belongs. At this point, spent more time there than any other room in this house. So that's good. But we wanted this essay written. So Nick and I had a different bet. This was a while back. This was in September of 2021 as we tell this story. And we played a game of cards. And in this game of cards, if I won, Nick had to paint the Harlequin army by the end of 2021. And if Nick won the game of cards, I would have to assemble the lawn furniture he was ordering because I am relatively handy.
And I'm not. Bad at hands.
Bad at hands, bottom 5. So I did in fact win. Mm-hmm. That game of cards. And so Nick has to paint the Harlequin army by the end of 2021. Come mid-December. Come about mid-December. We were kind of joking because for September and October, Nick did nothing. And so in November, we're like, Nick, like I'm sure you're gonna finish this by the end of 2021. But if not, if you were to say fail to deliver on this bet, I think it would be reasonable to expect that you write an essay on Return of the King as common sense. So Nick agreed to these terms, and then Nick starts painting the Harlequin army on December 26th.
Day after Christmas.
Yep, the day after Christmas. Nick's like, you know what? I can totally do this. Nick put in a very valiant effort, I must say.
He put like 50 hours in 3-4 days.
A very valiant effort. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the year, he was very close to done with a small problem. The small problem being that we were missing some heads for some of the models. And so Nick was like, well, I couldn't finish them because they weren't here, but it was kind of my fault because I didn't start this until December 26th. So we agreed between Nick and I as the agents of the bet that it would be fair to give him an extension because he had put in very good work to this point. So we postponed it to the end of January. And unfortunately, by the end of January, Nick had not painted the heads of the Harlequin.
We really lost a lot of steam in the time it took to get the Harlequin heads from the painting marathon. Mm-hmm. We didn't pick up the steam.
To this day, legend has it that Nick still has not painted the heads of the Harlequin bikes, and therefore I've been collecting a new Lord of the Rings related bet every 2 months.
I would like to throw in that the Harlequin ones have been primed purple, which is the color scheme of the army.
Yep.
They have been glued into position, so now the models are all complete. All they're missing is a couple colors on the heads, but these are absolutely tournament legal models.
Oh yeah, they are very close to done.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It would not take much effort at all to finish.
It's not my point. You know who has a point? Clown Mode with his $5 super chat. He thinks I have written the best essay of all time. Thank you so much, Clown Mode, for your wonderful support of this channel and my essays. Someone needs to be on my side because I don't know if I can take it, John.
Oh man. We've got one more question from Whistling Bird in the Discord before I think we power this down and get ready for a stream game later today. What is your favorite painting and music, and how do you guys best motivate yourself to paint?
I want to go first.
I would like to hear it, Nick.
Do you remember when we did the paint stream out of my bedroom for like an entire year?
I do.
Okay. Every single day on that paint stream, we turned on my TV, which was in the bedroom, and we put on the Flamingo playlist. This thing has inspired flamingos to be part of Art of War's identity from the creation since day one, and you know what? I still remember that playlist. Sometimes I still listen to it. The best painting music.
It was honestly great painting music. I kind of want to can you send me the playlist?
I can send you the playlist.
It's like cool vibes.
It's chill vibes, and it's like the third YouTube video down.
Got it. And it has the flamingo.
Flamingo.
Yeah,
you can't miss the thumbnail.
No, you really can't. Excellent.
What's yours?
I actually don't always put on music when I paint. When I do, I just put on my Spotify, which is a very wide mix of things. But I actually usually like to watch sports when I paint. So football season is an excellent time for me to just cram out armies, which is awesome because I paint all year round, and my motivating is just getting down and doing it because I just paint a lot. But for me, sports ball. Background sports ball is good while I paint.
Mm-hmm. We got another question from Snivar. I just want to hit this one. Mm-hmm. What's the hardest faction playing the game? Nick and Jack are the only coaches who haven't answered.
That's true.
I'm curious what your answers are, but I'll give mine. I think the hardest faction in the game to play is Gene Stealer Cult. Mm-hmm. They're very challenging in like every capacity you can imagine.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Fully agreed. That was my answer as well. Actually, we're waiting on Jack to answer that one still. Hopefully, we get an answer from the birthday boy. I always thought that the hardest army to play is a weird balance of rules and strength. Mm-hmm. Because I thought Sisters was a very hard army to play, and then they got some really good rules buffs, and now I don't think they're eligible for the title anymore. Mm-hmm. Because you can play Sisters mediocrely and still have a pretty good army.
Yeah, I think there's different ways to approach a subject. Like if you play your army phenomenally, everything is mastered, how good does it get? Mm-hmm. But I think hardest to even do okay with, personally, I think is Gene Stealer Cult.
Fully agreed. What
was Sieg's answer? Admech?
Siegler's answer was Admech and Gene Stealer Cult. He conceded that Gene Stealer Cult was probably harder than Admech.
Oh, Siegs.
Yeah. All right. Well, we haven't got an answer from Jack yet, but I think we're good here.
I think we're good here.
All right. Well, we should tell people, of course, that there is a game coming up today in the War Room. Whoa. Nick, you're going to be playing that yourself.
I am. We're going to be playing my version of demons, or at least one of my many, many, many demon ideas, against Mr. Siegs and his hardest army in the game, Admech. Very exciting.
Interesting.
So if you're not a War Room member yet, you can check that out by becoming a War Room member. You can do that right here on the YouTube channel, or you can do that by clicking the link below, theartofwar40k.com/learn more. We do multiple coaching games per week, which are different than the YouTube games. We don't just play the game, especially with the goal of entertainment. We play the game with the goal of education. We try to teach you all the things we're doing, the thought processes that are going through our heads, what we're considering, what we did consider but decided not to do, and why. All of those thoughts, along with faction clinics, meta-analyses, strategy sessions, the amazing Discord server where you get to ask hot players hot topics.
Love that.
You get all this stuff and more. Check it out. You get a discount if you use the link below, theartofwar40k.com/learn more. And even if you're already a War Room member, or if that's not your cup of tea, give this video a subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, let us know what you thought. It really helps us keep on producing this content for you.
Absolutely. We're going to send you away with a commercial for that same War Room. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
There's so many rules in 40K, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.